To save my drowning husband, I dived 3 times in search of him until I died of exhaustion. But he wasn't even in the sea, he was with his first love, Sophia, for her child's birthday. When he heard I was dead, he thought I was trying to sabotage his date with his first love and was playing a little trick. Isn't she certified as a scuba diver? How could she have drowned? Don't be ridiculous. For whole weeks passed before he finally remembered my existence. By then, my body had swollen from being submerged and partially devoured by sea life. I lost 2 lives with my unborn child. He, on the other hand, was holding a bouquet of roses and a diamond ring to propose to Sophia. The chill was overwhelming. Waves of asphyxiation enveloped me, then abruptly vanished. I opened my eyes suddenly to find myself no longer in the murky depths but right next to Noah. Just as I was about to feel relieved about his well-being, a harsh rebuke left me paralyzed. "Leave immediately!" Noah glowered at his flustered assistant, Oliver, whose entrance had startled Sophia's child. Sir, Mrs. Parker went for a dive and hasn't resurfaced. Oliver tried to explain, but his words fell on deaf ears. Oliver persisted in his efforts to elucidate, but Noah paid him no heed. Noah gently consoled the weeping child, displaying a warmth in his gaze I had never witnessed before. Sophia cuddled close to them, delicately dabbing the child's tears with a tissue. Such a picture-perfect family. I had observed the scene countless times, yet my hollow heart still experienced a twinge of anguish. Once the child's sobs subsided, Noah finally acknowledged Oliver. "Stop bothering me with these insignificant matters, especially regarding her. Can't you see you've upset Lucas?" "But Mrs. Parker." Oliver's complexion was ashen. Before he could finish, Noah interrupted him. "I won't say it again. If I have to repeat myself, you can collect your wages and depart. It's just another one of her schemes. She couldn't bear that I'm hosting a birthday celebration for Lucas. She has a diving certification and still managed to drown? How absurd!" I clearly perceived the derision on Noah's face and stood motionless. Noah was a renowned diving champion, while I was a complete amateur. After our marriage, he taught me to swim but often sighed, "It would be wonderful if someone could dive with me." I took his words to heart. Even after realizing my fear of deep water, I persevered in learning to dive. I still recall Noah's joy when I proudly presented my novice diving certificate. But now, that certificate had become the reason for his disbelief. Noah turned back to Sophia, his expression suddenly softening. "I apologize for the disturbance. Let's proceed." Noah carefully positioned the child in the middle of the crimson fabric, treating him like a precious gem. "Go ahead, Lucas. Choose whatever you fancy. Golden utensil, property documents, $100,000 in cash, a mahogany hairbrush." Each item had been meticulously selected by Noah himself. He guided Sophia's child through the birthday ritual like a doting father. If my baby had survived, he'd be marking his first year around this time too. I emitted a rueful chuckle and instinctively placed my hand on my barren womb. Once, it had housed a cherished life, but I had contracted a cold while learning to dive, and I couldn't save him. From that moment on, Noah transformed. He erupted at me and shredded my diving certificate. "You caused our child's death. Do you realize how challenging it was for us to conceive him? Noah had a low sperm count, so this child had been a miracle for us. I made a mistake. But what about you? It's your sperm that's deficient." That statement shattered his facade. On that frigid winter evening, he evicted me from our home. "I'm going to adopt Lucas as my son. I'll ensure my will names him as the heir." The illumination from the mansion seared my eyes, but not as much as the affection in Noah's voice. Sophia promptly glanced back at Noah with elation, emitting a soft gasp. When Noah looked her way, she swiftly composed herself, her expression shifting to one of worry. She cautiously inquired, "What about Emma? Didn't Oliver mention her earlier? Perhaps you should verify if she's all right?" My heart constricted, and I instinctively focused on Noah's moving lips. I still remember how Noah had vowed that everything he possessed belonged to me and our child. But now, those lips curled into a cruel smile. "Her? There's no need to check. Refuse like her is hard to eliminate. She'll survive." Noah sneered and added, "Regarding my assets, does a sterile killer deserve any of them? Even if she perishes, it'll simply be retribution for my child's life." 2. I remained motionless, stunned by the scene unfolding before me. The loss of our child had left me racked with guilt, causing me to constantly pursue Noah, desperate to conceive again. Yet now, he was laying all the blame at my feet. Once more, I felt as if I couldn't breathe, and a wry grin crossed my face. "Noah, you're unaware. I've already sacrificed my life for our lost child." The following day, Noah and Sophia emerged together from the same bedroom. This didn't shock me. I had anticipated it. Sophia was the one woman Noah could never possess. When she appeared with her child, Noah eagerly welcomed her. Her spouse recently passed, and she's single-handedly raising a young child. Should I stand by and let her struggle alone? "Emma, I never knew you could be so cruel." "So," I observed as she gradually reshaped our home to her liking. She even attempted to remove my wedding pictures with Noah. "Lucas used to see my wedding photos and call for his father. I'm concerned he might do the same with yours." Sophia wept softly as she leaned on Noah, instantly gaining his sympathy. Thus, the final evidence of our love was relegated to the cellar, accumulating dust, never to be seen again. At the dinner table, Noah attentively fed the infant while Sophia wore a worried look. "Shouldn't we invite Emma to dinner? She's been absent since yesterday." Noah continued his task without pause, reassuring Sophia, "You're always so considerate. Go ahead and eat. Don't fret about her. She's probably brooding somewhere." He then promptly summoned Oliver. "If she refuses to eat, don't bother preparing meals for her for the next couple of days. When hunger strikes, she'll emerge on her own." Noah turned to gently clean the child's face, disregarding Oliver's hesitant expression. Witnessing Noah's tenderness and his complete disregard for me, I voiced the words he left unsaid. I'll never feel hunger again, nor will I ever reappear. 2 days later, everyone began preparing to depart from the island. It wasn't until they boarded the boat that Noah finally recalled my existence. "Where's Emma?" he inquired with a furrowed brow. Oliver stepped forward to respond, but Noah dismissed him. "Never mind. If she won't show up for our departure, we'll simply leave her behind. Oliver, prepare a fishing boat and leave it on the shore. If she wants to return, she can row herself back." After saying this, he took the child from Sophia's arms and bounced him gently, all signs of his earlier irritation vanishing. I gazed at the weathered fishing boat, my eyes damp, but my tears had long since dried up. So this was my worth to him, merely a casual never mind. I didn't use the boat. Instead, I drifted alongside Noah back to our home. The house was now adorned with photos of Sophia and Noah. Even in images where I happened to appear, I had been cut out. As days passed without any trace of me, Noah grew visibly angry and somewhat anxious. "She's been gone all day. Who knows where? She won't even come home. Where's my diving watch? If she's going to die, she should at least find my watch first." Noah angrily ended the call, his face contorted with frustration. I instinctively floated to the bottom of the storage cabinet and reached out, but then hesitated. "She's utterly useless. All she ever does is misplace my belongings." I looked back at Noah and suddenly found him repulsive. As the devoted wife of a gold medal diving champion, I had always cared for his diving equipment. I vividly recalled his excitement upon winning his first championship, twirling me in his arms. He claimed it was all thanks to me, that without my support, he would have been too flustered to succeed. But now that I was gone, all he did was blame me for misplacing his possessions. I suddenly realized that, in his eyes, I was nothing more than a human storage unit. I was called upon when needed and dismissed when not. Noah clinched another championship. I hovered above, observing the joy on his face, but I no longer felt the same elation as before. I watched dispassionately as he embraced Sophia tightly, just as we once did. "Lucas truly is my good luck charm. I used a standard diving watch and still won," Noah exclaimed, lifting the child affectionately. "If Emma had hidden my watch and caused me to lose, I would have punished her harshly." Sophia giggled and linked her arm with Noah's. "That's because you're skilled enough not to be affected by such minor setbacks." But it was I who had spent countless nights researching the best equipment for Noah, meticulously maintaining everything for him, and now all my efforts were erased with a single remark. He failed to remember the good I'd done, but he clung to my mistakes, resenting me forever. I turned away, unwilling to listen or observe any longer. Yet, his voice, like a curse, forced its way into my ears. "Sophia, will you marry me? I lacked the means before. I feared I couldn't provide the life you deserved, so I stepped aside. But now, we're perfectly matched. This is destiny. I want to give Lucas a genuine home." Noah, brimming with affection, knelt before everyone and presented a diamond ring. Sophia held the child, her eyes glistening with tears as she murmured softly, "What about Emma? I don't want to be the other woman. You know I can't do that. Please don't put me in this position. I don't want to be a bad person. I love you, but I can't accept." "Sophia." Noah's face was filled with tenderness as he gently pulled Sophia into his arms, speaking softly to console her, but it made my heart sink. "Sophia, don't worry. I promise to give you proper status and to marry you openly and honorably. I'll divorce Emma immediately." "But isn't that too harsh on Emma?" Sophia spoke with apparent kindness, but I noticed the hint of a smile in her eyes. "How could it be harsh? If she had any sense, she'd leave on her own. She hasn't been home in days. Who knows where she's been? I think she stopped loving me long ago." "Love?" I opened my mouth, but no sound emerged. "Noah, I wanted to love you, but I just can't anymore." A solitary tear fell onto the back of my hand, and I was astonished to realize that even as a spirit, I could still feel the ache in my heart. 3. Where is she? Why won't she pick up her phone? I have no clue what she's doing all day. I should have ended this marriage ages ago, given her temper. Noah angrily tossed his phone aside after another failed attempt to reach me. I felt oddly detached, neither happy nor sad, as I observed his distorted expression. Sophia bowed her head briefly, then looked up with determination. Perhaps Emma is still upset with me, or even with Lucas. Though Sophia's posture was gentle, she quickly turned her resolute gaze to Noah. "I can wait for you, no matter how long it takes." "Even without Emma's approval, it doesn't affect my feelings," Sophia murmured. I watched as Noah embraced Sophia, clearly touched by her words. It dawned on me how naive I had been to love him before. They separated, both breathless, their mutual affection evident in their eyes. "I'll check with Oliver. He might know something." "Don't worry, Sophia. I promise you'll have the wedding of your dreams," Noah declared before hurrying out. Noah drove directly to Oliver's place. Upon entering, he was stunned by Oliver's appearance. Oliver looked gaunt, as if he'd lost considerable weight. "Where's Emma? You were the last to see her, right? Bring her back here. Stop these foolish games," Noah demanded, his voice laced with irritation. At the mention of my name, Oliver seemed to snap out of his daze. As if suddenly freed, he quickly recited what seemed like a well-rehearsed statement. After Mrs. Parker went scuba diving, she never resurfaced. Oliver began, his voice trembling. Oliver, remember who you really work for. Quit covering for that woman. Noah interjected harshly. How could she just dive in because of something you said? Noah's voice was loud, but a hint of worry crept in. I informed her that after you went diving, you hadn't come up for a while. She immediately put on her gear and went to search for you, Oliver explained. She was concerned something had happened to you, so she dove 3 times, using 3 air tanks. But on the 3rd attempt, she never came back up. I listened to them describe my death, feeling oddly disconnected, as if I were an outsider to my own story. There were many details Oliver was unaware of, and Noah knew even less. That day, the sea was turbulent. It was far too risky for diving, yet I plunged in without hesitation. That night, visibility underwater was poor. I kept descending deeper and deeper. I was merely a novice diver, but that day, I discovered strength and courage I never knew I possessed. Ultimately, I couldn't make it on my 3rd dive. The deep, dark waters overwhelmed me with fear, and I lost control, succumbing to exhaustion and drowning. The memory of the icy water still clung to me as I watched Noah, disbelief etched on his face, rush frantically back to that island. A month later, they finally recovered my body. My skin was bloated and pale, like a water-filled balloon. When they removed the wetsuit, the skin on my abdomen tore open. My flesh was exposed, and my face was unrecognizable, eaten away by marine life. Inside my belly, a barely formed fetus was visible, causing many to turn away in horror. Noah, however, let out a relieved laugh. See? This can't be Emma. She wasn't pregnant. But a moment later, he froze. The corpse wore a ring on its finger. Search 592625 on Novabeats App to read more.